One area Stan Lee excelled at was promoting Marvel comics and making sure people talked about them. He did interviews, provided fanzines with information, gave lectures, and tirelessly put forth the image that Marvel, and by extension comics themselves, were pretty darn cool. His efforts in this regard are unparalleled. And, as a spokesman for the medium, he was, in my opinion, the greatest showman the industry has ever seen. I have no issue planting that flag and defending it to my final breath. While it wasn't a conscious effort on his part, Lee promoted comics as a positive lifestyle. Furthermore, he personalized fandom. He made every single reader feel like a friend or a close relative. They were part of the hallowed halls of the mighty Marvel bullpen, which seemed like a place where Spider-Man might drop by unannounced for a sandwich, or where one could see a cutaway mimeograph diagram of the Baxter Building that Reed Richards gave to Jack Kirby as reference. Sure, a lot of this was a facade. That has to be acknowledged. But Stan Lee made you believe. And I suppose, if you have any sense of wonder in your soul, you wanted to believe. Even now, even if you're a jaded, middle-aged narrator with a well-regarded but surprisingly obscure YouTube channel, it's hard not to recognize that Lee's enthusiasm and passion are infectious, and they feel genuine. There are areas of Lee's career to criticize, especially the legends that have proliferated over time. Regardless of criticism, one has to admit, he always made fans feel like they were part of something. And, most importantly, everyone was welcome. No one was an outsider. So let's look at 3 projects Lee put together in order to unite Marvel readers and make them feel like Marvel insiders. The inspiration to create an official fan club actually came from the fans themselves. According to Flo Steinberg, Stan Lee's lovely assistant, who was responsible for corresponding with fans, quote, "Kids would write in and ask us why we didn't have a fan club," unquote. Until that point, it hadn't occurred to anyone at Marvel that there might be a demand for an official fan club. But once the idea formed, it quickly took shape. Marvel's first fan club, the Merry Marvel Marching Society, was teased by Stan Lee near the end of 1964. By 1965, all the details were in place and interested fans could sign up for the sum of $1. In return, they received a membership kit with a variety of exclusive items. This included a welcome letter, a membership card, a notepad, stickers, a button, and an actual vinyl record called The Voices of Marvel. On this record, Stan Lee and a variety of Marvel bullpen members chatted back and forth, making jokes and just being silly.
Well, Jolly Jack Kirby, say a few words to the fans, Jackson.
Okay, a few words.
Look, pal, I'll take care of the humor around here.
You've been using the same gags over and over for years.
The notable exception was Steve Ditko, who declined any involvement, although his lack of presence was included anyway.
Hey, what's all that commotion out there, Sol?
Why, it's Shy Steve Ditko. He heard you're making a record and he's got mic fright. Whoops, there he goes.
Out the window again? You know, I'm beginning to think he is Spider-Man.
About making that record, Lee said,
"And we made a recording. We hadn't rehearsed. It was all ad lib."
Lee added other details that were, let's say, equally misremembered, such as,
I announced what we were and who we were, and I introduced Artie Simic, our letterer, who I think he played the harmonica for a minute, and I introduced Jack Kirby, who said, "What am I doing here?" And it was funny. It was really funny.
Neither of these anecdotes, if they actually occurred, are part of the recording. According to Steinberg, Lee prepared a script beforehand, and if one listens to the recording, it's pretty obvious everyone is reading lines. Furthermore, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing, as Lee implies. Studio time was booked in advance, and the Marvel office was shut down for an entire day while everyone recorded their parts.
Stan, the fans know you have a bad memory by all the mistakes you make, but this is ridiculous.
Over the years, other incentives were added to the fan club, such as the Marvel Messenger newspaper and a theme song, Scream Along with Marvel. This theme song was produced by Gantry Lawrence Animation, the studio behind the cheaply produced Marvel cartoons from 1966. All in all, it was a quaint little package for Marvel fans in the late 1960s. Reportedly, total membership in 1965 was in the 40 or 50,000 range. By 1967, it had reached 70,000, which is a reasonably decent number by any standard, and a good side hustle for Marvel. But most importantly, it made fans feel appreciated and part of the Marvel Age of Comics. The fan club also offered its members merchandise such as t-shirts and posters. Ultimately, it was the lack of profit that was the downfall of this fan club. The publisher and Marvel's silent overlord, Martin Goodman, thought this part of the business wasn't doing as well as anticipated. The cost of creating the merchandise, storing it, and distributing it wasn't pulling in the numbers he liked. Furthermore, Goodman didn't like the fact that fans were getting the membership kit at cost. Marvel made no profit at all from it. So it was decided the fan club should be dismantled and handled by a third party instead of Marvel directly running it. Lee objected, but to no avail. Chip Goodman, Martin's son, had already contacted someone ready to pay the company $10,000 for the rights to sell Marvel merchandise through mail order. And that was the direction Martin Goodman decided on. In what may not be coincidental timing, Goodman was looking to sell Marvel Comics. So ridding the company of a break-even venture like the fan club was likely an attempt to maximize Marvel's saleability. He could also tack on the licensing fee he expected to obtain as an asset. So it was a win-win sales tactic on Goodman's part. The Merry Marvel Marching Society was disbanded in 1969 and replaced by Marvelmania. Marvelmania, or Marvelmania International, was a company separate from Marvel Comics. They purchased a license to offer fan club memberships and to sell official Marvel merchandise through mail order. Fans who paid $2 for a membership received a membership card, a Captain America poster, a sheet of decals, a separate 6-inch Hulk decal, a merchandise catalog, a return envelope for ordering items, a 42-cent coupon, and either the Marvelmania magazine or a flyer. Later kits did include different items, or updated variations on current items. Additionally, Marvelmania published 6 magazines in total. It contained Marvel news items and articles about Marvel characters. Ironically, in the first issue, one of the featured news items is the announcement that Jack Kirby was leaving Marvel. Despite Kirby's departure, the magazine was too deep into production to make changes, so the majority of the issue contained Kirby artwork. Overall, the magazine looks like a slightly more professional version of a fanzine, emphasis on slightly. It was a sign that maybe the company was doing the bare minimum to satisfy the fan base. For the sake of clarity, there appears to be 2 versions of Marvelmania #1. The issue with the Captain America cover came first, in October 1969, and presumably it was included with memberships. The second version, with the Black Bolt cover and the Kirby departure announcement, was published in April 1970. Also, there are 2 versions of Marvelmania #4. The very rare, original printing, known as the Blue Line version, was destroyed and replaced with a black and white version. The other notable differences are, Mark Evanier's editing credit has been removed and some pages were altered. Apparently, this happened after Evanier quit, and the owner of Marvelmania believed there were hidden messages within the magazine suggesting the company was a disaster. Although, Evanier denies he actually did this. We'll get back to this in 1 second. Marvelmania offered lots of merchandise, posters, buttons, portfolios, stationery, figurines. It was a pretty extensive operation that, allegedly, turned out to be a short-term grift. According to Evanier, who edited the first 4 issues of the magazine, the people who ran Marvelmania were unsavory individuals looking to make a quick buck. They apparently believed that Marvel's circulation numbers would translate into millions in profit, and all they needed to do to get on the gravy train was to make a mere $10,000 investment. Beyond that, they knew nothing about comics and cared even less about fandom. Their intentions were purely motivated by greed and a lack of scruples. Allegedly, staff, artists, and the printers were grossly underpaid, or not paid at all. Merchandise orders were not being fulfilled. Again, allegedly, the owners were pocketing the incoming cash and doing the bare minimum to keep the operation going. When the creditors started to line up, the owners cleaned out the office and disappeared. And that was the end of Marvelmania. By 1972, Martin Goodman had sold Marvel, and he decided to step down as publisher. The new owners of Marvel wisely installed Stan Lee as the new publisher. One of Lee's early decisions was to reinstate an official Marvel fan club, but this time Marvel would run it and do it properly. This led to Friends of Old Marvel, commonly known by its acronym FOOM. Quite simply, FOOM was the best version of the fan club, and, in my opinion, an accurate reflection of Stan's appreciation of the fans and his genuine desire to make them feel like a part of Marvel Comics. The Marching Society was charming for its time, and Marvelmania was an unfortunate disaster, but FOOM was exactly what Marvel fans deserved. It still had the spirit and look of a fanzine, but it was polished. This was partially due to Lee's direction, but credit also has to go to the artist, Jim Steranko, who was the editor of the first 4 issues. His associate editor was Ken Bruzenak, who would go on to work with Howard Chaykin on the influential series American Flag. So the talent behind FOOM was rather impressive. FOOM was, primarily, a quarterly magazine written directly for fans. A 4-issue subscription was offered for $3. For $1 more, the subscriber could get a membership. However, memberships were also sold separately for $2.50. The members apparently received pretty sparse incentives in comparison to prior versions. They received a membership card, 6 decals, and a poster. Although, in images for auctions of FOOM membership material, it looks like a kit included more than what was reported. So it may be that more incentives were added over time, or the sources I read were lousy and the kits were packed with additional material. The true bonus feature was FOOM magazine. The magazine was loaded with staff profiles, behind-the-scene articles, announcements, puzzles, contests, fan art, checklists, and merchandise. Eventually, it included surprisingly candid interviews and articles written by some of Marvel's most recognizable talent. It was a very expanded version of the popular bullpen bulletins that ran in every issue of every Marvel comic. As a package, as something devoted to fans, it was pure excellence. It was also a very nice time capsule of a time when Marvel was on top of the superhero publishing world. Yes, in essence, it was a promotional product, but that wasn't the motivation for its existence. It was a professional insider's look at all aspects of Marvel Comics. It gave fans insight into the comics they enjoyed and the people who put them together. FOOM ran for 5 years until 1978. As announced in the final issue, the decision to discontinue the magazine was financial. This was a time when comic books were in a slump with declining sales, the infamous DC implosion being a sign of the times. For Marvel, it may be that subscriptions and fan club memberships had dropped, and FOOM's cancellation was a cost-cutting measure. And perhaps, fan clubs had become a relic from the past. The emerging culture of conventions and comic book stores had begun to replace the sense of community a fan club represented. That same year, Jim Shooter was hired as editor-in-chief, and Stan Lee moved to California, where he began to broker movie and TV deals for Marvel properties. He remained the publisher, but his involvement with the direction of Marvel greatly diminished over time. By the very early 80s, Lee was, effectively, associated with the company by name only. In 1983, Marvel launched the title Marvel Age. It was a standard comic book that included previews of forthcoming comics and interviews with various Marvel talent. While not specifically a fan club publication, it was definitely a good, affordable replacement for the discontinued FOOM magazine. In spirit, it was similar, but not quite the same. The emphasis was on generating buzz for forthcoming projects and detailing comics that were currently available. Regardless, it was a decent alternative. FOOM itself was relaunched in 2017 for exactly 1 issue. With the internet being a thing and access to previews and interviews being easy to find, this relaunch was likely nostalgia-based and published with the best intentions. It didn't go beyond that 1 issue. In the end, Stan Lee fostered a positive outlook concerning comics, with an emphasis on unity through a shared appreciation for the medium that was, generally, seen as the lowest form of fiction. If one is cynical, this can be seen as a self-serving attempt to legitimize the business that made him successful. Even if there's some truth to that statement, Lee did have a genuine appreciation for those that got him to that point. That can be seen in all his public appearances and the effort he put into the fan clubs he established. His legacy in this regard is impeccable. Stay tuned after the credits. I've included the complete recording of the Voices of Marvel and the 2 songs that were on the Scream with Marvel record. Alright, roll credits. Thank you for watching, or listening, whatever the case may be. Additional thanks to all my fine supporters on Patreon and YouTube. Please show support by subscribing, liking the video, and leaving a comment. If you'd like to go a step further, there's a link to my Patreon down below. Extra special thanks to Francis De La Cruz, John Nyukes, Andrew Barton, Odin Ashcroft, Phil Sagan, Edward Clayton Andrews, Corey Drew, Ellis Gregor, Alexa Zernish, Brian Deaton, Johnny Lim, and Matt Marino. You are all justified and ancient.
Okay, out there in Marvelland, face front, this is Stan Lee speaking. You've probably never heard a record like this before because no one would be nutty enough to make one with a bunch of offbeat artists, so anything is liable to happen.
Hey, who made you a disc jockey, Lee?
Well, Jolly Jack Kirby, say a few words to the fans, Jackson.
Okay, a few words.
Look, pal, I'll take care of the humor around here.
You've been using the same gags over and over for years.
Well, you can't accuse me of being fickle, can you? By the way, Jack, the readers have been complaining about Sue's hairdo again.
What am I supposed to do? Be a hairdresser? Next time I'll draw her bald-headed.
Boy, I'm glad we caught you when you were in a good mood.
Oh, Stan, do you have a few minutes?
For our fabulous Gal Friday? Sure. Say hello to the fans, Flo Steinberg.
Hello, fans. It's very nice to meet you. As Marvel's corresponding secretary, I feel as though I know most of you from your letters. By the way, Saul Brodsky wants to say a few words.
Saul Brodsky? Who's he?
Stan, the fans know you have a bad memory by all the mistakes you make, but this is ridiculous. He's been your associate for years.
Really? We ought to start paying him one of these days.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that. And how come I don't get my name plastered all over the mags like you do?
Because I can't spell it, that's why.
Well, as long as you've got a good reason.
Hey, what's all that commotion out there, Saul?
Why, it's Shy Steve Ditko. He heard you're making a record and he's got mic fright. Whoops, there he goes.
Out the window again? You know, I'm beginning to think he is Spider-Man.
You mean he isn't?
Who said that?
Just that lovable old letter of me.
It's adorable Artie Simic. What brought you here?
The subway.
Oh, well, ask a bonehead question, Flo.
Stan, Sam Rosen is on the phone.
How are the letterer? My competitor?
Just for fun, Artie, you talk to him.
Hi, Sam. This is Artie. How's it going, pal?
Just great, Artie. I sure admire your lettering.
I admire yours too, Sam. I think you're tops.
Thanks. Well, nice talking to you.
The pleasure was all mine.
I never could stand that guy.
Well, that's our Artie. Just imagine what Sam is saying about him now. Well, let's see who else we can get on this record.
How about Chick Stone?
Okay. Hi, Chick. How's Tricks?
Fine, Stan. I'm reading the latest story. It's great. What a thriller.
Now, that's what we like to hear, Chick. Which one of our comics is it?
Who's reading a comic? This is a novel about James Bond. I can't wait to finish it.
Well, we're going to miss Chick around here.
Oh, look who just came in. Kid Daredevil himself, Wally Wood.
Is that a tape recorder, Flo? You know I'm afraid to talk into these machines. I can never think of anything to say. I'm not a big talker. I shut up like a clam. I get struck dumb. My mind goes blank.
Okay. Forget it. Boy, I'd hate to hear you when you feel like talking.
Stan, Dick Ears is on the phone.
Let's surprise him.
Hi, Dick. We have a recorder playing, and you're talking to millions of people right now.
You some kind of nut or something? I just want to tell you I want a raise.
Dick, don't you understand? People are listening. You're talking to the whole world.
I always knew you'd crack someday, Lee. Just my luck, it had to happen when I asked you for some more dough. Well, I'm going back to Sergeant Fury. Goodbye.
Another phone call for you, Stan.
Oh, not anymore. I'm getting an earache.
But it's Don Heck.
The idol of the Iron Man fans? The ace of the Avengers? Hi, Don. What's doing?
Stan, I was just wondering, wasn't I supposed to draw Iron Man last week?
Sure. Why do you ask?
So how come you mailed me a Patsy Walker script?
Yipe! Did I do that? That's awful.
Oh, well, don't worry. I'll send it back to you.
That's not why I'm worried. I must have sent your script to Al Hartley. I can just imagine Iron Man looking like Patsy Walker this issue. Okay, talk to you later, Don.
Don't worry about it, Stan. Don't you remember that Al Hartley used to draw adventure strips? It may not be too bad.
Well, look who's here. Stan G., our demon colorer. I've been meaning to talk to you, Stan. When are you going to remember it's the Hulk who has green skin, not Captain America?
Gee whiz, the guy can't remember everything. Anyway, I had to tell you what MMMS meant last week, and you're the guy who made it up.
But when I forget something, it's different.
Yeah, it's worse.
Stan, this is the most confused record I ever heard.
Great, Sol. Just what we want. If it were anything else, it wouldn't be the Nutty Marvel bullpen.
Gosh, we don't have time for George Bell and Vince Coletta and Larry Lieber and Bob Powell and...
That's great. Now, if we ever form another club, we'll have something new to offer. Voices that haven't been heard yet.
Enough said, Sol. Now, let's all get back to work in the bullpen. And as for you, marvelous, merry marchers, welcome from all of us to all of you. If you want to know how glad we are to have you with us, just you listen. Okay, let 'em hear it, gang. Whoa!